Huh. I think I'm just old. Hey guys, this is Pixel Dan. Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about collabs again. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. Look, right before San Diego Comic-Con, I dropped a video talking about collabs that was specifically based on Mattel sending out a poll to the fans saying, are you guys still interested in collabs, and what brand do you want to see us collab with next? And I think at the time I speculated that they probably already had something in the works. Spoiler alert, they did, because it was revealed at Comic-Con. And that's part of the reason I want to like cycle back around and talk about this again. It's really funny because I had multiple people tell me in person at Comic-Con that they loved my rant video about collabs, and some people even teased me for ranting about something like that. And my initial response was, wait, I wasn't ranting, was I? I just wanted to discuss it. But regardless, I'm glad you guys enjoyed my rant about collabs. So we walk into San Diego Comic-Con, and you know, there were a lot of really cool reveals this year, but as expected, we also have a whole new round of collabs between brands that were announced. I'm not going to cover every single thing here, but there were a few notable ones that I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and start with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaborating with Godzilla. Okay, so I actually missed the Ninja Turtles panel that was happening at the show. I missed a lot of the panels because I was in appointments or doing booth tours and such. It was really hard. The scheduling is hard at Comic-Con. But, you know, I was trying to keep up with it. And I think I was talking to my friend Toy Shiz. I think he was the one who first told me about it because we were chatting about what happened at the Ninja Turtles panel. And he goes, oh, Playmates announced Godzilla and Ninja Turtles. And my initial thought was just, what? I think my reaction was for real, and I kind of rolled my eyes, and I was like, God, here we go again. But this is what they revealed. So right after the show, they announced pictures online, and they showed the first 3 figures in this new collaboration with Godzilla, which features Raphael as Rodan, Michelangelo as King Ghidorah, you know, that guy, that one. And then Leonardo as Godzilla. And you know, it's really easy to just laugh and roll my eyes and be like, ugh, what? Like, why? And then I look at these and, I mean, I kind of think they're cool looking. Yeah, so I don't know, like, this isn't something that I really was thinking about, but if we think about the history of Ninja Turtles, this makes complete sense, because the original Ninja Turtles toy line did this sort of thing all the time. Especially when Playmates toys had the rights to other brands, they would mash those things together in Ninja Turtles, which is what they're doing here. Playmates Toys is the current rights holder for action figures for Godzilla and Toho, so they were able to mash that together with their Ninja Turtles toy line. Much in the same vein as when they made the Star Trek Turtles in the 90s. When they were making Star Trek action figures, we got the Star Trek Turtles. And just think about all the mashups we've had with Turtles over the years, even just looking at that original Playmates Toys toy line, right? The Universal Monster Turtles are some of the most beloved from that original toy line. That's an early collaboration. Look, I'm bringing this up because, like, I felt like I got this point across the first time I talked about it. I am not fully against the collaboration idea. I do think cool stuff can come from it. I just feel like, as a whole, I'm kind of burned out on it. I just feel like there's so much of it happening where we're taking, especially where we're taking like 2 mainstream or like retro nostalgic properties and just finding a way to smash them together. Like, it was fun at first, but it feels like it's a lot now. Does that make sense? I don't know, I do think these Godzilla turtles look kind of fun. They did also announce that this is just wave 1. They promised that Donatello is in the second wave, so we will get all 4 turtles, plus I would assume a couple other characters in Godzilla form. And I think these are first to market at Target, but then will probably be available elsewhere. The Playmates toy stuff usually isn't too hard to track down, so if you want some Godzilla turtles, they're a-coming. But yeah, there could be some fun ones. Like this one. All right, look, I'm starting to feel like my entire argument or my rant is starting to become null and void when I'm sitting here talking about how cool some of these are. But like, legit, Garfellow is one of my favorite reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. So this is from NECA Toys, if you aren't aware. It is Garfield disguised as a Ninja Turtle. But this isn't just an out-of-the-blue random made-up thing. This is based on a real Ninja Turtles comic strip that appeared in the old Ninja Turtles magazine, where Garfield disguised himself as the 5th Ninja Turtle, Garfellow, specifically to steal their pizza. It's silly, it's goofy, but it's a thing that's been around for a long time, and I think any of us who remember all these weird, obscure things like this always hope to get action figures of that, and now we've got Garfellow and Odie, who was also in that comic strip. So again, this kind of falls in that whole Ninja Turtles thing I was just talking about, where this is pretty common for the brand. But also, this is based on something that existed a long time ago. It's another, like, old school collab, right? And Nickelodeon, Viacom, the company that owns Nickelodeon, Viacom, owns Garfield and owns Ninja Turtles, so they're under the same company. So that's how NECA was able to do something like this. I don't know, this is fun. This is another one that is just flying in the face of my entire argument. I'm sorry that I'm caving to the pressure to everybody who was rooting for me to, to go after collabs. Okay, let's talk about the real one now.
Mattel and Hasbro are joining forces and releasing a capsule collection, limited edition, Masters of the Universe and Transformers.
San Diego Comic-Con brought us a lot for Masters of the Universe, which, can I just start by saying how awesome that is? Like, look, a lot of you that are following me were probably around through the whole Masters of the Universe Classics era, and that was an amazing time to be a fan, and that's still, like, probably my all-time favorite MOTU toy line outside of the vintage line. But I want you to, like, remember, as a MOTU fan, how starved we were for anything for so long. And now there is just so much of it. Like, maybe you can argue too much of it, but I will always say that the best thing about there being too much stuff is that there's something for everyone. So you can kind of pick and choose the things that you care about. And I think that is a good thing in general. Now, let's talk about that collaboration that they announced. So we got that poll right before Comic-Con. Hey, what brands do you want us to collab with? Are you guys still interested in collabs? And like, the response was pretty mixed. Like, I gave my opinion on that video where I was just like, I don't know, I'm kind of sick of collabs. I'd rather you guys focus on completing the vintage line. And a lot of people seem to agree with me, but I also saw a lot of people saying like, oh, but I'd love to see Brave Star. I'd love to see Black Star. I'd love to see all these other old properties that are MOTU adjacent that haven't had a real resurgence be brought into Origins. And I get that. I think that is really cool. But they didn't do that. Instead, we're getting this. Transformers, Masters of the Universe. Now, this is part of that new working relationship that Hasbro and Mattel has. You might have seen that the last couple years. We've seen some crossovers between the two companies with their brands, their in-house brands, where they're starting to do some mashups together. And like, that is kind of cool. And they're still hyping that up as like this is that thing that was never supposed to happen and it's happening. But when it's happened a lot for the last couple of years, obviously that loses that loses its significance a little bit. But still, Transformers and Masters of the Universe is kind of a big deal in the sense that they were two of the biggest powerhouses in the toy world and in the animation world in the 1980s. And they're arguably the two brands that really were the first ones to like bring cartoons associated with their toy lines that made that a normal thing. So what they opted to do with this crossover is they brought aesthetics from the Transformers brand into the MOTU Origins line. So these are still your modular Masters of the Universe Origins 5.5-inch action figures, but they've got armor, basically, that makes them like they're dressed up like Transformers. Like we've got the Skeletor Megatron crossover, which is very kind of cool, like two big bad guys and you're smashing them together. And then the other one that they announced is kind of interesting. It's Man-at-Arms and Bumblebee. And when I asked the reason, like, why Man-at-Arms with Bumblebee, like, Damon at Mattel kind of explained, well, you know, Bumblebee and Man-at-Arms are kind of both like the right-hand man to the main hero in their respective franchises, which is why we thought Man-at-Arms and Bumblebee would fit well together. I don't know about you guys, but I've always thought that if we're gonna take Man-at-Arms and mash him with a Transformer, I think Brawn looks a lot more like Man-at-Arms, like the color schemes match. I always looked at Brawn as like, oh, that's Robot Man-at-Arms, just because of the color scheme. I'm just saying that feels like aesthetically a better look. But the logic, I get the logic. I understand what they're saying. So they're getting new parts, like the torsos are more blocky, like the robots from Transformers, but then it looks like they've still just got like clip-on armors and stuff like that, and of course they're still going to mix and match with your other MOTU Origins figures, which means these are Transformers that do not transform. And I know that that's like a thing, because anytime I've talked about even like the Super 7 Ultimates figures, where I thought it was neat that somebody was trying to make posable action figures based on the way the robot forms looked in cartoons, you always see a very loud response saying, what's the point in Transformers that don't transform? So I think that is going to be applied here as well. So I don't know, like, I'm not like a big Transformers collector or fan, as you guys probably know, so these aren't really doing it for me. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Like, is this a collaboration that excites you? To be honest, for me, I think I would be far more interested if this was flipped around and coming from the Hasbro side. Meaning, we get actual Transformers based on Masters of the Universe. And my thought process was, there are so many cool and iconic vehicles in the world of Masters of the Universe, with the Battle Ram or the Wind Raider or Roton or any of these cool vehicles that would be awesome to see be Transformers and turn into robots. I actually asked the Hasbro team about this at Comic-Con. Oh, I just want to throw it out there, like if there's more chances to do like what you're doing with the Hot Wheels, which I think is fun. There's a lot of great vehicles in the world of He-Man.
Vehicles.
Battle Ram, Wind Raider as Transformers. I'm just saying, putting those ideas in there. So yeah, Battle Cat. I would be all in. Let's go. Let's go. I don't know if they were really like alluding to the possibility of that being something that they're already thinking about, or if they were just humoring me. It's very possible, the latter. But I think, even as somebody who doesn't collect Transformers, that is what I am far more interested in. If we're gonna do the collab, and we're gonna mix these two brands together, let's do it where it makes sense, in that we can take the vehicles from MOTU and turn them into transforming robots. Also, like, the world of MOTU has some Transformer type characters. Like, we could have just done the Meteorbs. I want the Meteorbs. I'm serious. Let's do some Meteorbs. I don't know. I mean, like, they're not going anywhere. Collabs aren't going anywhere. And here's the deal. If you don't agree with my dumb opinion on this, that is awesome, because If you like all of these figures, if you're totally into Turtles of Grayskull and these Transformers MOTU figures and Godzilla Ninja Turtles, you should stay into those. Like, don't let my opinions on these change your mind about it. Like, everybody should like the things that they like. And at the end of the day, I think that's one of the things that is really good about where we're at in the toy world, because there are so many options out there. There is literally something out there for everyone in the collector space. And like Masters of the Universe alone revealed so much stuff this year that, like, even if I can look at the Transformers crossovers and go, I'm not really into those, there's still like all those Masterverse figures and all of that 2000X stuff that looks really cool. Like, they revealed so much for MOTU that I am excited about. So it doesn't matter that I'm not into everything. They did still only reveal one more figure from the classic toy line. So come on, Mattel, hurry that along. Now I'm curious how many of you have already left snide comments about the hypocrisy because of the t-shirt I'm wearing. It's irony, my friends. Shout out to Toy Snobs.